Hello, everybody, and welcome to El Rito's podcast. In this short episode, I would like to talk about three different solutions that I suggested in the WhatsApp group to release the hostages from the end of Hamas. And the three different solution was, the first one was to get an agreement with Hamas and to release the hostages. The second one was that Israel will make a siege around the Gaza Strip and will prevent any supply to get into Gaza until they release all the hostages. And the third solution was to do a military operation or just like keep fighting until we are able to rescue the hostages. So in this video, I would like to talk about those three different solutions and to explain the problems with each one of them and why each one of them can be a possible solution for the situation. So, few things. First of all, Hamas today is holding 136 hostages. 29 of them are already dead for sure. What's going on with the other, we really don't know. What we do know that Israel fighting already for more than 100 days, and the only way that we were able to release some of the hostages was with agreement. Obviously, the hostages that are inside the Gaza Strip suffer tremendously from terrible, terrible things that we cannot even imagine. And the thing is that obviously we want to bring them back home as soon as possible. And if we want to do that, we need to do one of three things. I would like to talk now about the first solution, which will be to get in an agreement with Hamas. As we know, until the end of 2023, Hamas released 110 hostages. 80 of them he released in agreement with Israel. In a part of this agreement, the first one, Israel released 240 terrorists and Hamas released 80 hostages. It was like the math is like three terrorists without like actual blood on their hands, just like terrorists that support a terror attack or something like that, with the terrorists that didn't really actually murdered Israelis. And 240 of them were released from the Israeli prison in return for 80 hostages that were released. And Israel, it was also a ceasefire, and Israel, in part of the agreement, Israel didn't use any air force above Gaza for 6 hours every day as a part of the agreement. This was the first one. Now we are waiting, hopefully, to the second one. And the second one, the conditions of Hamas are they want to stop the war totally. And they want also Israel to release more than 6,000 prisoners out of prison. Of course, there are a lot of diplomatic efforts, and Israel tried through Qatar that support Hamas and through Egypt and through different countries to get an agreement with Hamas. What Hamas wants is something that Israel she's not able to give. We're not able to release so many terrorists from prison. We cannot stop the war. So obviously it's not a price that we can pay. And the thing is that this is for now for Hamas, this is the only way to get an agreement. Now, when Gilad Shalit was released, after that he was kidnapped by Hamas, Israel released from prison more than 1,000 terrorists. One of them was Yahya Sinwar. We saw what a huge cost we pay for the life of one soldier. Of course, we cannot even imagine what they have been through, but just like think of the fact that for this one soldier, the price to release this soldier was more than 1,000 terrorists that killed already so many Israelis. That's definitely not something that makes sense. Now, the other thing is that if Israel will stop the war now as a part of the agreement, according to to official reports, Israel hurt only 30% of the terrorists of Hamas, and they still have hundreds of kilometers that they able to use. They still have the roads to Sinai Peninsula, the smuggling roads to Sinai Peninsula that they still can use and to bring a smuggled weapon into the Gaza Strip. And they also still have their leadership alive. So definitely they will be able to redevelop themselves. They will be able to survive. Hamas will be able to end up this war with still with a military ability, still like with a lot of weapon, and still with the ability to attack Israel. And some of the main goals that Israel put on the table, Israel will not achieve if they will end up the war now when Hamas is still alive and still have its own leadership. So this is about the first solution. The second solution to prevent humanitarian aid and any supply from getting into Gaza. The thing is, right now there is humanitarian crisis, big one in Gaza, and because of that, the court in Hague enforced Israel to let more trucks get into Gaza Strip. Obviously, the United States as well and other countries putting a lot of pressure on Israel to let a lot of humanitarian aid to get into Gaza Strip because that there are more than 1.5 million people who live there that are right now in a very terrible situation. Now, it's not that I have, a lot of mercy for the people who live there. They are part of our enemies. And right now, I just like, as Israeli, I'm not able to, being focused on what they are suffering because they are my enemies. And after what they did in the October 7, definitely they are not like in the top of the list of my mercy. But the thing is that if so many people will die, it will make definitely the world to stop the war. It will Israel will get a lot of penalties for that, and it's something that we need to consider. Now, in the beginning of the war, Israel said that we will not let anything to get into Gaza until we get the hostages back, and we violated the promise of ourselves, and now, as a part of what happened in Hague, we are going to still keep this situation that trucks will go into Gaza. Obviously, most of the things in the trucks are going directly to Hamas. They can use them, and thanks to this supply, they are able to survive inside the tunnels. They have gas to take out the water, to breathe. They have food. They have everything that they need thanks to this like humanitarian aid, sorry, that goes into Gaza on daily basis. The third solution is to release the hostages in a military operation. I tell you the truth, guys, it's been already more than 110 days to this war. Still, there is no hope. They still have hundreds of kilometers of tunnels. We don't know if they were able to, take the hostages into Sinai Peninsula or somewhere else. And the biggest problem will be that when Israel will start a fight, when the IDF will start a fight in the area of the refugee camps over there, there are more than 1.5 million Palestinians, more than 1.5 million people from Gaza. Inside the 1.5 million and more, you need to find the hostages and you need to find the terrorists of Hamas. It will be almost impossible. It's like the, how you call it, like the Spanish show. Never mind. Spanish show that everyone have the mask of Salvador Dali and you are not able to recognize who is who. Same thing. How you will be able to find the hostages between so many refugees. And the thing is that Israel really don't have time. I mean, Israel do amazing, amazing, amazing job. The IDF doing amazing job in, fighting inside Gaza in historical terms, like fighting in a very good way. But still, we didn't ruin even half of the tunnels of Hamas, and we didn't kill even half of their terrorists. So how we will be able to release the hostages? Maybe we are getting closer, but every day that pass, more of them are suffering, and there is more chances they are not alive anymore. Unfortunately, I have a friend with 7 members of his family that were kidnapped into Gaza. We definitely want them to be back, but still, for the life of 130 less, for 100 and the life of a little bit more than 100 people, we cannot put everyone here in Israel in danger. We cannot release 6,000 terrorists that murder Israelis, and we cannot let Hamas still exist after what they did in the October 7. Therefore, we cannot get their conditions. So we really hope that or that the IDF will achieve more goals, and then we will enforce them to compromise in negotiation, or that we will fight until the end, and obviously, what we will get back from the hostages, it's likely that many of them will not be alive, unfortunately. So it's really something that we need to consider. But the thing is that in the end of the day, we need to think about all the people in Israel and the results of how the end of this war will look like. Thank you very much, everybody.